thank you all. Thank you all for being here today. I'd like to say that it's a pretty historic day. It's been a victory 20 years in the making, or close to. And it would not be possible without the support of everybody in this room. Thank you to the legislators who worked very hard to put this agenda forward. Thank you, Senator Chacon, for your years of support and conviction. Thank you, Representative Alzate, for making this a priority this year. And we know it's not an easy bill to take on. And of course, thank you, Representative Anastasia Williams. Your years of support and work towards this, all of you have made it possible. Made it possible that for all of us to stand here and celebrate together. It's no small feat to get this kind of legislation through, and of course, where would we be without the amazing support of the community? For being here, for showing up year after year. It's not an easy bill to come year after year in support of. I mean, there's been many years where folks have thought this would be it, and it wasn't. And in many cases, we were really hoping that this would be the year. And we're very happy to say that this is the year. It's not just a saying anymore. It is the year that the Safer Roads Act will become law. Yeah. And I like to finish it off by saying that the opportunity to drive is not a subject matter to be taken lightly. Driving privileges go beyond just making the roads safer, although that is an important aspect of this legislation. It is for the families out there who do not have to drive in fear anymore. It is an extended out to the homes of those families. It creates a more sustainable household. Folks can drive their children to school. They don't have to worry about trudging through a storm. They don't have to worry about a plethora of other problems that come without driving. This is a fantastic opportunity to create a more sustainable household. These people are caretakers, business owners, they're your neighbors, they're your friends. Undocumented people and documented people benefit from this kind of legislation equally. It's not just a bill, but more of a supporting of a lifestyle. And so, lastly, what does it mean to families? It means, again, a safer way to get to school. It's also a benefit to our economy. It's an overall just a great bill. And I'd like to thank legislators again for their work, the sponsors for their championship, the community for their conviction, and their devotion to the idea that all people have a right to drive and a right to thrive. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Hector, and thank you for your leadership. It's an historic day here in Rhode Island, and continuing on the path that Rhode Island has momentum, and we're going to keep it. And this is just another way to make that happen. When we signed the bill today, when I put my signature on behalf of the people of the state of Rhode Island, we're carving out a path to boost our economy and improve public safety, and we're making Rhode Island a more equitable place for all of us to live.
Thank you.
So that's what it means to me to extend driving privileges to undocumented Rhode Islanders. Before I go any further, I do want to recognize the extraordinary efforts that have been made by the advocacy and selfless leadership, in particular, of Chairman Anastasia Williams. We really appreciate her support. I appreciate her support, and I want to just make sure that I recognize that it takes leadership many directions, and the chairwoman has provided that leadership in significant ways, as others in this room, but I did want to make a special note of that. She has been the biggest legislative champion for these bills for many years, and we would not have been without her here today, and thank you so much for that. As a lieutenant governor, I supported this effort and have had visits from everybody that's here about this issue in my office as lieutenant governor. And now, as governor, I'm sitting in a position where I welcomed the additional efforts, and the timing is right to get this done now. And I'm fortunate to be here as a governor that able to sign this in today into law. I do want to recognize our Lieutenant Governor Matos, who kept the effort going. As I left the Lieutenant Governor's office, she kept the effort going as well, advocating for this and making sure that we were right to the very end, making sure that we were able to answer the unanswered questions relative to the cost and those type of things. I mentioned I dispatched people from my office to make sure that we got it right, and that was no reason not to do it. So I want to thank our Lieutenant Governor as well as my staff, the staff in my office, who's prominently displayed here today with Rosa holding the camera over there. But yes, advocating for this legislation. And as Lieutenant Governor, Senator Frank Chacon, I certainly provided letters in support as you were, working the Senate side of the General Assembly, and again, we're able to do that again as governor. The chair of the Black and Latino Caucus, Representative Karen Alzad, thank you so much for your leadership as well to bring us to this point, as well as Leader Blazes-Juski and Senator Cano. Both of you, I know that it takes many votes to pass a piece of legislation. And it's incredible advocacy, as you have provided, like Hector and the Immigration Coalition. Along, I want to mention Juan Garcia as well. Juan, thank you so much for your voice on this issue as well. It is a long time coming, and your moment is finally here. But I don't think it's just your moment, it's our moment, right? It's our moment. We want to make sure our state of Rhode Island is growing strong, and the families in the state of Rhode Island are given every opportunity to prosper and to earn a good living. And to me, this is as much about economy and economic opportunity as it is about safety, besides the equity issue. But we want to make sure that our economy keeps on growing. Right now, we're the second fastest recovering economy in the entire country, according to Moody's, and this only adds to that momentum to make sure that we continue to have a path so that people in our state of Rhode Island can earn a good living and they can raise their families in a way where their families stay here in the state of Rhode Island, because we set the groundwork to make that happen. So all the advocates, all our senators, our reps that are here today, thank you for bringing us to this moment. When people can drive safely, when they can own when they own their own car to an appointment, they can drive there to a job. It removes those barriers, and every barrier that we can take down in the state of Rhode Island, we should be doing it. The people who live in this state, as was said, they're our neighbors, right? And they're our friends. And the young families, their kids are our future, as much as our kids are our future. So right now, Rhode Island is ready to do this. And as we build on this momentum that I'm talking about, we have to do things that make sense. This bill makes sense. And it has been well debated. Over-debated in many ways, right? But it's been well debated. And the sound has resonated in the chambers. But it also has been resonating in the State House for years. We're helping the economy. We're improving public safety by making sure drivers have training and insurance regardless of their immigration status. It makes common sense. We've done this for our students. We signed a bill this year that allowed, make sure that our students that were going to our colleges were as entitled to the grants and to the support as any student in the state of Rhode Island. So this makes sense. We do also look at this as an economic issue to help control and lower insurance rates. We have one of the highest uninsured rates in the nation, and this should help correct that. And subsequently, we have some of the highest insurance costs, and we should be doing everything we can to lower the cost to be able to live and raise a family in the state of Rhode Island. So many people have waited a long time for this legislation, and so many people have worked tirelessly to get here. At least a decade, more in some people's minds. So now it's time to finally sign this law and make it part of the state of Rhode Island's efforts to make sure that we level playing fields for all the families that live in the state of Rhode Island. So thank you so much for having me here today. I look forward to signing that bill, as I look forward to sign many of the bills that have come to me in the last 2 legislative sessions. So congratulations to everyone. And Sabina, please come up and say a couple words on behalf of the Lieutenant Governor's office. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. This is a wonderful day that we have been waiting for a long time. And this was only possible thanks to the hard work that was done by the legislators, the senators, the state reps that worked so hard to make this happen, to pass this law, and for also the advocates that are here in the room. I want to take a moment. I know that they will be recognized, but the ones that I was able to capture as coming in, of course, Senator Fran Chicon, thank you for fighting for this bill for so long. Thank you. Representative Anastasia Williams, thank you so much for your fight. I'm going to go through a list of the reps and senators that I saw here. I'm going to start with the Rep. Alzate, who is the chairwoman of the Black and Latino Caucus. I want to thank the Black and Latino Caucus for everything that you have done to so many good legislation that were approved this year, so thank you. Senator Cano, thank you for your hard work and your everything that you have done. Representative Diaz has been working for this for a long time. Senator Quesada, Rep. Villa, I saw also here, thank you so much. Councilman Vargas, who I saw also is here. Councilwoman Germain from Cranston, also. Representative Slater, I saw Representative Slater. Rep. Morales, I also saw Rep. Morales. Rep. Batista, I want to say thank you for your hard work. Some of the members of the community that I have seen, I said Senator Quesada? Yeah, I did.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I'm going to be introducing him. So, sorry, I didn't forget about him. Leader Blasajewski, yes. But a good point. Yes. So, and the leaders from the community that were advocating every day at the State House and making sure that this bill got passed. I see so many of you here I know we have David Quiroga, Juan Garcia, who we mentioned, Hector, who we hear from Hector already. I see Morris, Debbie Gonzalez, Suseli, so many of you. We just want to say thank you. This is possible because of you, of all the hard work that you did. I see Ana Cano Morales also here. So many people that I would like to acknowledge and thank. But you made it happen. And this is about public safety. This is about making sure that our roads are safe and that families in our state are able to drive their kids safely to home. And one thing that the governor and I keep hearing all along is about job creation. We have to make sure that people are able to drive to work. We hear so many companies that tell us that they cannot find workers, but workers cannot drive to go to work. So this is about that. And that's why we're here today. And finally, but not the least, I want to thank Governor McKee because we have a governor that is willing to sign the legislation. So thank you so much for what you're doing. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Leader Blasajewski to address us. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is truly a historic day, and it is an absolute honor to be able to spend a couple minutes to reflect on how we got here and to thank you all for all of your efforts to bring us here today. I'd like to start by thanking the governor and the lieutenant governor. Thank you for your leadership in signing this legislation and fighting for it over the years. And I want to also thank our Senate counterparts, Senator Chacon, Senator Cano, and Senator Quezada. Thank you very much. In the legislature, there are two chambers, and we need to be sure that we can get legislation through both, and we need partners in both chambers. So thank you all for your efforts in the Senate. And in particular in the House, I just really want to highlight the efforts over the years of three chair people. And I want to start out with the class of 1992, Chair Anastasia Williams. You know, leadership is something that happens over time. I've been a sponsor of this legislation since I got up there in 2010, but there were those that were working on it long before I got up there. And that leadership is something that is so important. So Chair Williams, thank you so much for being a tremendous leader in getting this bill over the finish line. I want to highlight, thank you. I want to highlight class of 2004, Chair Grace Diaz, the next generation to come up, who I've turned to Grace. She's the chair of our Democratic caucus. She is a leader for us in the Democratic Party, both in the state and also in our chamber. And she's been a mentor to me. So Chair Diaz, thank you so much for your efforts over the years to get this bill done. And last but not least, I want to highlight class of 2018, the next generation to come, Chair Karen Alzate. She's the chair of the Black and Latino caucus. And I just want to say that our House leadership team has worked very closely with the Black and Latino caucus. This was the caucus's top priority. They were very clear about it and worked very closely with us to try to get this over the finish line. So I'm so proud of that effort. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Anastasia. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention other legislators who are in the room who have been supporters of this bill, not just now, but previously. Representative Scott Slater, thank you for all of your efforts over the years. Representative David Morales, Representative Nathan Bia, thank you, Nathan, very much for your support, and Representative Jose Batista. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to be able to be here today on this historic day, and I can't wait for the signing. So with that, I will hand it over to Representative Karen Alzate for a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader. Can I just ask that Rep. Williams and Rep. Diaz join me up here, please? So I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to our governor and lieutenant governor for their support on this bill, as well as the House leadership, as well as the Senate leadership for this. I've asked two of my colleagues who are here to stand with me, because I want you all to know that this bill was the effort of not one person, but so many of us, both inside of the chamber as well as in the community. It is a personal fight for me, because as being the chair of the Black and Latino caucus, I wanted to make sure that the voices of my members were being heard. This bill has been rolling around for a very long time, with Grace Diaz, Representative Diaz putting in the work, with Representative Williams putting in the work. And this could not have been possible without either of them. So please give both of them a round of applause. So many of you are here because you're so a part of the community. We often hear that it takes a village, and you are all of our village. Because of you and because of the advocacy, because of making sure that your voices were being heard at the legislature, in the voting booths, we are here today to sign this historic legislation. So thank you to all of you. This legislation is personal to me because my father was undocumented for about 6 years when I was in high school. And before my sister and I could drive, my dad was the person that drove us everywhere. And for 6 years, my sister and I had to live with the fear that my dad might be detained and not be able to come home because he might have gotten a ticket, ran a red light, had a flat tire, or a tail light. And so I know that I'm not the only one that feels like that. This bill benefits people like myself and my family who is here today. My cousin, who is a big sister to me, she has 2 little kids. We are all American-born citizens. This bill is for people like us, because we no longer have to live with the fear that our parent is going to walk out of the door, drive to go to work, and might not come home. So I want to thank all of you for all of your hard work, all of your leadership. for everybody who has been doing this. I saw Ana Cano Morales, who has been doing this work for years. Thank you so much. For all of my friends and colleagues in both the House and the Chamber, thank you all so much for everything that you have done. And last but not least, I'm sure that there is a frame, yes, right over here. Yes. Eduardo Sandoval. History has been taught to me in the past month because this work is not done alone. Eduardo Sandoval was a champion in this, as well as Juan Garcia, who has also been championing this legislation in the community. So thank you to all of you. This win is for all of you, and thank you to my colleagues. Thank you so much for standing with me and for passing this great legislation. Thank you. And I would like to hand it off to Senator Chacon.
Thank you and good afternoon. Before I get into my prepared speech, I would like to bring up some people that have worked with me on this legislation presently, and that's Senator Cano, Senator Casada. Would you please come up here? They have been my true support in getting this bill passed in the Senate the last 2 years. So I thank both of you. But this goes back, for me, 20 years. And over the 20 years, I picked up the bill from I see him here, the former senator, if he'd come up here, former Senator Pachado, you here? Yep, I see him. He has a shiny head. Was in the Senate, he started championing the bill, and after that, he moved on. Senator Casada came in, she worked with me, Senator Cano worked with me, but in my community, which there was two people here. One, we have the Lieutenant Governor, and also Councilman Vargas, who was on my district committee and hounded me for years that we got to get this passed. So we worked together. I will say this, for the people that have been working on this bill for years, I'm just going to say one thing, and I'm going to be a little critical. In 100 days, you're going to get this bill. Don't worry about it. So if everybody remembers, I'm not going to mention names, the promise that was given to you at that time. So, Governor, I commend you for standing up for the people in my community and the communities around the state that would benefit from this bill. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the leadership on my side, which is Senate President Ruggiero, Majority Leader McCaffrey, and Whip Goodwin, who the last 2 years helped champion this bill with the two ladies that you see next to me getting this passed through the Senate. I'd also like to say that this is an extremely important issue to many members of the Senate that are not here today and our constituents. First, Senator Cano, who worked with me on this bill, had her hard support and my dedication to it. I know her passion on this comes from her own life experience, as you heard from Representative Elzante. The issue is a safety one and an economic one. It's common sense. We know there are people that are driving without a license, that have unregistered vehicles, and this will correct the problem. As the governor mentioned, regardless of their immigration status, they will be trained, they will be tested, their cars will be registered, and most of all, they'll be insured for safe driving on our roads. I know all of us who have insurance are paying high rates. The governor is correct. We need to reduce the uninsured motorists and bring the insurance rates down for not only the people that are going to benefit from this bill, but for all Rhode Islanders. It will protect more businesses and residents. Studies have shown in the past that when this bill has been passed, public safety and economic benefits have increased, public safety has also increased. The states providing credentials of undocumented traffic fatalities have decreased. It's taken us several years to get to this point, and I'm glad that we're, in a few minutes, going to be signing this bill. I didn't realize, and last night I was talking to someone at the city committee, and I said, gee, it's been like 5 or 6 years. So he looked at me and he said, no, it's been 20 years. I was like, oh, I'm that old, I guess. So with that, I'd like to also mention one other person. In addition to the advocates that are in this room, there were 5 different organizations that worked with me over the last several years that helped craft the bill. And as we started running into problems, the governor mentioned his staff. One of the key members on his staff that worked with us was Rico Votto. He's out there, Rico. So I thank you and the governor for allowing us to bring this forward. And with that, let's move on. And I know the next person that I have that I'm going to introduce is one of our workers, Senator Cano.
Buenas tardes. Este es un día histórico para la comunidad. Gracias, gobernador. Gracias, Lieutenant Governor. On behalf of the Senate leadership, I'm grateful to see this important bill become to law. Senadora Quesada, muchas horas de trabajo.
Many, many.
Senator Chacon, thank you for being our champion. I said it when this bill passed on the Senate. Senator Chacon is changing lives. And it takes people like us that live through this to advocate, but it takes champions like Senator Chacon to understand that we need people that don't look like us to get it done. So thank you, Senator Chacon. We really, really appreciate it. I know Representative Alzate and Lieutenant Governor recognize a lot of the elected officials that are here, but one that wasn't recognized is the mayor of the city of Pawtucket, Don Grevian, that has been here, and we are so grateful. Representative Alzate and I both represent Pawtucket, and it is so important to have a mayor that gets it and that is with us here today. So thank you, Mayor Grevian. Si se puede. You have held many an enormous difference for so many Rhode Islanders in our states. It's been you, the community, the advocates, a Juan Garcia, a Eduardo Sandoval, a Debbie Gonzalez that has helped us, and Ana Cano Morales, every leader here, a Heidi Maldonado en Fuerza Laboral, right? Many of you have made this day possible. Our communities are deeply appreciated. Your leadership and dedication has set an example for all of us. I also want to thank all of you for making sure that you didn't give up. You did not give up. Many people have misconceptions about undocumented families. They are members of our community, working people who want to contribute to our state and build a life here. This has been the story that Representative Williams, Representative Diaz have been said for many years. And Representative Alzate, the chairwoman, really heard those stories and said, how can we bring their voices and lift them up? Because it's true, it's time, the time is now, and we're here today. I came to this country from Colombia in 2000 under political asylum. Like Senator Chacon said, for 7 years, my family was here legally, but we were undocumented. Legally came the right way, but we were undocumented. We went through a long, extensive citizenship process, but during that time, my parents couldn't get driver's license, even though they were working. So they had to rely on other people. We took the bus, asked for rides, we did what we needed to do to get around. My daughter doesn't have to live that struggle. But many of my daughter's friends still growing up would not have to do that because today it's happening. This legislation will enhance public safety for all Rhode Islanders, and it will make a powerful difference in many, many lives. It is simple. It is the right thing to do. An honor to be part of today's ceremony. An honor to be part of this community. This is your victory. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Actually, I forgot to mention one senator that couldn't be here, and it's Senator Acosta.
Oh, yes.
Senator Acosta also fought for the community, and he couldn't be here, but he sent you all his love. He would have been here sharing with all of you, but unfortunately, he's out of the state. Muchas gracias.